I am Erin Patton, metaphysical master in a millennial age, and it is my life's purpose to guide you and organizations along an enlightened path. So I invite you to sit comfortably and tune in as I welcome you to the MetaBusiness Millennial, where we get the real conversations you won't get in the boardroom so that we understand this is exactly the path we need to be on in order to grow, evolve, and thrive. Greetings, I am Erin Patton, and welcome to today's episode of the MetaBusiness Millennial Podcast. We are live, and we are live across all platforms. We're live on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and I'm so grateful that you guys are paying attention and let me know that you can't hear me because now the audio is there. and as I had started off saying, I really would love to invite you all to share this video, drop comments, DM me, particularly if the message resonates with you. And of course, follow me at I am Erin Patton across social media platforms. And also I would love for you to check out more of the podcast episodes. If you love this, then you're certainly going to enjoy all that I have on my website at erinpatton.com, www.erinpatton.com. And all of my podcast episodes are there. Resources for you to support you in your journey with your business are there. The MetaBusiness World work that I do with organizations is very near and dear to me, and really actually has inspired today's topic around what I call authentic affluence and leading with integrity, because I believe that so many people are wanting to do good in this world, or wanting to, especially leaders and executives and entrepreneurs, and wanting to get to that next level. And I feel that for the collective, because we want to be able to get to that next level and do all the things that we want to do and have all the dreams and the wealth and all those things. Yet there are steps that have to be taken to get there. And I believe that this is a piece that also eludes people, because I think that we've just been taught to go hard, to grind, to work, to do all the things that, we were just taught in school to be successful. Yet in this day and time, it requires more. And particularly that piece around the authenticity. And I speak to this a lot on this podcast, and I really don't feel bad about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really think that, every week should be a conversation around authenticity and really peeling back the layers of what this means for myself and for you and for all those that are really wanting to lead authentically and integrous. The integrous part is really the key, because we all know what's right and wrong in our being. And a lot of times, particularly in business, people play power games. And sometimes they want to be able to feel like they're on top, or they get one over on people, or they aren't getting taken advantage of. And it comes off, not with integrity. And really one thing, and we can start here, that we want to make sure when we're leading with that sort of authentic affluence and that wealth energy is that we are moving and operating from integrity. And this is definitely a spectrum, this integrity. And I wouldn't say it's discrete, because it really is going to depend on your level of consciousness. And I speak to this a lot, but I haven't spoken to it more recently because I've been listening back to the episodes, and I realized I haven't talked about this in a while. Yet one of my favorite books called The Map of Consciousness, it was written by Dr. David Hawkins in the 70s, and he really speaks brilliantly to this idea of levels of consciousness, or the concept rather, because it was an idea that he rigorously tested and had statisticians working with him and data, and really created a beautiful chart called the Map of Consciousness. And it goes through many levels, all the way up to love, enlightenment, essentially. And this is actually what inspires my vision around 700 enlightened business leaders around the world, the meta business world, doing that in the next 2033. The enlightenment piece, essentially, and let me repeat that. that map of consciousness and the idea of enlightenment really inspired my own journey and my own business goals of serving and working with enlightened business leaders. Because for every enlightened individual, that person can organically influence energetically 1 million people. So when we talk about followers and social media and how, influencers have a lot of influence on people's buying habits and where they go to eat and where they go to shop and travel, the same can go for enlightened leaders, spiritual leaders. We really can inform all that people do in their lives, their behaviors, and not just for consumption purposes, which essentially is what we have today. So looking into the future, the work that I'm doing and I believe that I've been called to do is really support leaders in getting to that level of enlightenment and beyond, because there's levels to enlightenment too, of how we can thus then influence and impact millions, hundreds of millions of people across the globe in their consciousness and lifting that consciousness. And that's the piece where I'm saying the integrity is more on a spectrum, because where you fall essentially on this level of consciousness is going to determine your level of integrity, period. And there's nothing we can do about that, essentially. And this is the piece also that I think is going to be supportive for our leaders when we're working with people and working with our colleagues, and we're seeing that such and such, this guy, this woman, or this man is not operating at a level that we're operating at. Well, we have to take a step back and assess, where is this person consciously? And what can I reasonably expect from this individual? And this goes in business relationships. This goes in romantic relationships. I believe that we really project ourselves on the world. I mean, obviously, that's how we move through the world. And especially as conscious, intelligent, smart people, we're moving so fast, go, that we don't always stop to see who's right in front of us. Okay, I'm with this person in whatever the scenario is, and I'm gathering information from them. What is it telling me? Oh, this person, is really educated. Oh, this person's really educated, but not so street smart. So you start to gather this information, and a lot of people maybe see it as judgment. I would try as much as you can to remove the judgment and allow yourself to gather the information to be able to understand how you should respond. And I mean, this goes in management, this goes in parenting, this goes in so many different areas of life where we really have to stop and assess who is in front of me and how do I respond to him or her. And that will depend on where they are consciously, what they can even receive from you. And this is getting more into the higher level kind of teaching of leadership, because it requires a higher level of discernment. And then once you are able to extract that information and discerning how that individual is, then calibrating your response. Like, is it really required? I mean, will this serve the scenario for me to go off on this person? Or would it just serve them to send a very clear and concise note and leave it at that? No more conversation. So you really want to start to use that discernment and assess who it is that I'm talking to and I'm speaking with, and how will I respond? And this gets at the authenticity part and the integrous part, because first of all, you're operating from what feels comfortable for you, of course. And the integrity piece is you're not punishing someone or being violent to someone for where they are consciously. We don't want, as enlightened leaders, to repeat the same ugly patterns as our parents, as our former bosses, as our former managers, as our leadership. This is not why we came here. So we really want to start to embody more of these integrity types of behaviors, because this is what we came here to do. It's not easy. It's not easy to operate from integrity. It's not easy to be a woman or man of your word. It's not easy to show up after something's gone wrong and try to problem solve. It's not easy to do these things, have the difficult conversations if you hurt someone or was disrespectful or things fell apart. However, this is what it means to be integrous, to have integrity. You show up in those very difficult times, and you show up as best as you can with the knowledge of who you're around. Because it no longer serves us, again, to that point, to be angry. It no longer serves us to go off on people, to fight people. Those energies are not just lower vibrational, but they're damaging to us as individuals. When you're angry at someone, yeah, it may hurt their feelings, but actually you're inflicting harm on your own being. And that's a piece too that I don't think people understand. The angry words that we use, whether to ourselves or to others, it hurts us, our vibrational frequency, as we start to bring ourselves down in our levels of consciousness. And as we start to bring ourselves down in those levels of consciousness, we harm ourselves. We bring the instability to our being. We start to have headaches. We start to have neck cramps. We can't sleep at night. I know, because I done been through the shit. I've been through it. So I really understand the impact of not operating in integrity, not operating in truth, not speaking my truth, even if I felt like it wasn't going to be heard or received. And that's something too that just takes time. Like I was saying, you want to be able to respond to someone at the right level of consciousness with the right words. That's not going to always happen. That takes practice too. I've gotten better. I wouldn't say that I'm perfect, but I've gotten much better at that, at communicating how I really feel, even in a difficult, kind of tense, energetic situation, awkward situation even. I'm dating now, always awkward situations there. But I'm going to communicate how I feel because that is honoring me. Which brings us to the next point, honoring of self. And I'm going to always talk about this on the leadership journey, because if we're not honoring ourselves, then we will not honor anybody else. So by speaking your truth, by walking in that truth, you are honoring your truth and yourself. That's what a leader does. A leader doesn't show up to just tell people what to do and boss people around and delegate. We don't just show up to do that. Leaders show up to embody truth in their own truth, whatever that is. And that's something for me that I've learned to just cultivate over the years and really stick by. And I even was talking to my marketing team about this too, because, there's things that I post on social media, like I'm outside, like I go to the clubs, I go to lounges, I go to bars, I'm posting, bags of marijuana and like top shelf THC and, and I'm really walking and living in my truth. A lot of people may not agree with that as a spiritual teacher, as a woman of God, but it's me and it's my relationship with God that I have to nurture and cultivate and answer to. So with that in mind, as leaders, as you as a leader must do the same, whatever that looks like for you. And I want us to really start to remove this perfectionist dogma and ideas that we've been really laden with and burdened with. We are high achievers. We do really well. But yet, someone else's definition of perfection may not be your own. So you must honor yourself in cultivating what is perfect for me. And not just what's perfect for me right now. because I already know, like I've been talked about this for so long, my drinking journey, and my relationship to alcohol. And more recently, I've really released it. And I knew I would get to this point. Like I was, out all weekend and not having a single drink, having maybe one mocktail, mostly water, sparkling waters, and having a great time. Probably more fun than people in drinking. And the same goes for me for the marijuana, the smoking, or the gummies, or whatever people are, I guess it's just like gummies, yeah. And it's just, or little chocolates or things like that. So it's like I feel the same there. Like it's recreational, it's fun, it's social. In most places it's the legalities are questionable, and that's the piece where I think a lot of people get funny about. But at the end of the day, what's bringing me joy? What's bringing you joy? What's bringing you pleasure? And at the end of the day, if those things no longer bring you pleasure, if you notice that they detract more from your life than they add unto, then you must reflect on that. Make decisions based on that. Because the whole key to this walk is the honoring of yourself. And this is some shit that we ain't never heard before growing up. Honor yourself. What? What does that even mean? I'm sure many of you are like, yeah, like what? But yes, honoring myself. Honor yourself. Because the way in which you carry yourself and speak to yourself and walk with yourself and be with yourself is how the world will do. The world will be. Others will be. And maybe not initially, because I certainly do come across lots of different characters that I don't necessarily believe are a direct reflection of me. Yet when I am able to meet someone who sees me and I see them, and I know y'all know what this feels like because my eyes are just even lighting up now. Like that is like a heaven state experience. When you can really be with someone, whether man or woman, who gets you and honors you the way you honor yourself, it feels like heaven, honestly. And that's the goal as enlightened leaders, is to have a better quality of life and existence while you're here. And in doing that, you cultivate that from within. And as we start to sort of extrapolate these lessons to more physical things like, money or, staff or, the processes that we have, it extracts very similarly. What we do and what we say in terms of our money moves. Are we honoring ourselves? Are we walking in integrity? Same with our team members, what we promise to our teams. What we say in our meetings, are we honoring what we're saying? Are we speaking from integrity in that? Or are we just saying things to appease people and move the conversation along and never follow up? Essentially. And then if no one notices, not even bringing it up. So these are, essentially practices that I really wanted to speak to that I feel like can really get us to more of this authentic affluence and this leading with integrity, is really starting to dial into that piece around what does it mean to be integrous at your level of consciousness. Really assessing like, okay, where am I? Where do I want to be? Where am I falling short? And this is something too that I had to, I love to speak from personal experiences. When I was going through my spiritual journey, and I guess I still am, but really early on, I wasn't aware of how I was even treating other people. Of course, I mean, maybe I was a little bit more aware of that, but how I was treating myself. And this also kind of obviously couples with the honoring of self, the integrity. Because once you start to see that within your own being, then it makes it much easier to see it in other people. And for me, I would overextend myself. And I would promise to support people with their business ventures and help someone do that, and then pick someone up over here and take them there. And then I would also have to help with my mom do something. And then I also had my child. But I really was overextending myself. And I thought that that was integrity at the level of consciousness that I was at. I thought it was integrous to just be of service to everyone and do everything for everyone. Yet that could be like furthest from the truth, because when we're doing things for other people like all the time, like in that sort of like mama hen way, it's almost like disallowing other people to grow. When you're picking up someone's weight here and picking up someone's weight there and supporting people over here, yes, I do see that there are some obligation pieces that can be there, but oftentimes that's just out of sheer not understanding that helping people is not always doing for people. Helping people can be just as simply as sending a kind text message or sending a note or sending a nice gift, and really minding your own business. And this is something that I had to learn. It was a very hard lesson because and I think it's very difficult for people to even receive this, because we've been so conditioned to do. Actions, actions. And yes, actions and the manifestation of how we feel is super important, yet not to the extent where we're burning ourselves out. And as leaders, we do this a lot, like especially micromanaging and wanting to do things in the workplace and organization and looking at everything. Yet when we come into an understanding that we're supported, we can have more trust, we can release a little bit more, allow more space for help, then that really starts to level up our integrity in many ways. Like, it is not necessary to be able to be and be Superman or Superwoman for everyone. Actually, it's really important to pick and choose who gets that level of energy from you. And not in a way that's nasty or miserly, but in a way that's honoring you, in a way that feels right for you. And being able to say no, or not this time, maybe next week, is really powerful and really speaks to the integrity and the honor that you have for yourself and for others. Because there's one thing that I know, like especially like in the relationship world, especially in the business world too, is that you don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. And that's one thing that I found when I was doing a lot for other people. I was oftentimes overpromising and underdelivering. I wasn't even able to do it to my best capacity because I was doing so damn much. And that's not okay. You want to be able to do your absolute best, quality over quantity, with less. Do your absolute best with less. Start with less and then grow. And this is such a key moment, a key point too for business is, and I learned this the hard way too, like I even say, like, I'm on all the social media platforms. I'm doing all the things. And right now I'm moving into a space where I'm going to be focusing my energy on one, maybe two platforms that are meaningful to me, that I really can give my all to. Perfect example for business. And same with you. I'm sure you have lots of offerings, lots of services, lots of opportunities with your organization. But really, if you were to just focus on one thing and give that all your attention, and then sequentially add on more things that would also honor, of course, those aspects of your business, but especially honor you and your energy and that which you have to give. And really, as we're thinking about sort of this sequencing, it takes what I like to call a vision of getting there. Because in order to not want to rush to the finish line, you have to be able to hold that vision so deeply in your spirit and your being and your first eye and your third eye, that being able to take those slower steps, those baby steps, or those crawls, if you can't walk yet, seem so important. Not only do they seem important, you're almost like celebrating those baby steps, just like you would in a baby. You're celebrating those little steps. And that's actually how it should feel. And too often, we're so busy rushing to the finish line that we don't even care to celebrate the small wins. We just want to celebrate the biggest one. But it's like torture getting there. So by the time you achieve the big dream, you don't even have the energy to really feel good about it. It's on to the next. So much of this integrity conversation, so much of this authenticity conversation is really steeped in honoring you. Honoring yourself, honoring your journey, honoring where you're at, and really holding that vision for yourself of where you want to go. And knowing that God got you, universe got you, source got you, however the words you use to put it there, you are supported every step of the way. And I want to reiterate that. That's something too that I believe that everyone needs to hear every single day. You are supported. You are loved. You can trust that everything is working in your favor and going to work out for you. And that things that feel painful, that feel challenging, are there to strengthen your muscle, your metaphysical muscle, are there to make you stronger, expand your capacity for love, for compassion, so that you can do more and get to more of what you truly desire. And I really want to leave you all with that message because that resonates so deeply with me right now. It resonates so deeply with what's happening in the collective right now. People are working hard, and you must know that as you're working hard, you need to honor yourself in the process, y'all. And if you're really wanting to learn more about these concepts and dive even deeper, I truly invite you to come to my site, erinpatton.com. I have my MetaBusiness Avatar quiz that I invite you to take, where you can actually see which avatar you are. I have 4 avatars, where you are, and there's resources to support you wherever you are in your journey so that you can honor yourself. I think that's a really great offering to leave this podcast on. And of course, if this message deeply resonates with you, leave me a comment, let me know, shoot me a DM, and share this with a friend who you really feel like needs to honor himself or honor herself in this time, because we all deserve that. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for the comments about loving my site and what I have to offer. You guys have been so gracious today tuning in. People in the audience, I see y'all out there. And I love you all too. I really appreciate you guys always showing love and lifting me up, because this is what I do for y'all. So it's like a virtuous cycle, a loving cycle. And until next week, I will be on IG and my stories, so check me out there. All right, y'all. Peace. Did you really love this episode of the MetaBusiness Millennial Podcast? Well, I am honored, and I appreciate you subscribing, leaving a review, and sharing it with your friends, because your feedback allows us to co-create more enlightened conversations. And if you're interested in growing your soul now, head over to my website, erinpatton.com, to find all the show notes, links, and free resources to get your energy activated today. In the meantime, stay bright, my friends. Much love and light. Peace.